Video 91, answering questions from viewers, as explained by the ancient spirit tralaka. The inner earth has numerous pockets, not one huge open inner earth, but multitudes of multiples of pockets, not like a sphere or balloon, but they are more of a bloated variable form of a banana, and they come in different sizes and measurements. There is two known races of varied reptilian humanoid forms from the Procyon system, and a much smaller presence of a lizard humanoid species in two of the smaller pockets within Earth. Any other forms that are living in those micro-sized, much smaller pockets compared to the large pockets. And these type of species would be gnomes, elves, two separate fairy species, and elementals. The inner earth pockets are not a quiet place, though, either. They are inhabited, many of them. And they are very small but long pockets that were formed long ago as a neutral zone between some of those species. However, this is not a finished story here until Tralaka gets a chance for another meeting with the inner earth Procyon in a more of an informal manner. Though please understand that the much higher sciences, it is possible to have fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional beings living each within their own sets of science within a three-dimensional form of Earth or other dimensions. In this variable of a three-dimensional Earth, putting in a very well-built trailer and bury it into the Earth in safe keepings. Let us talk more about this, as things are going to begin to roll out with more drastic changes on this planet. A few things to remember. How is the water table in the ground around where you desire to put such a thing? A bunker, a big trailer in the ground that will protect you. And so, but as the Earth continues to be squeezed from the coming of the Nibiru system's red dead star, this will cause, by effects, changes in the flow of some of those water tables under your properties, which could cause a pressurized spring under a no-studied area that the trailers had been buried, which could cause, by effect, of destabilizing of the grounds underneath, unknown to the people on the inside of the trailers, even to the extent of causing one of those buried trailers or multi-trailers to tip on one end and head headlong down into the water pressure made hold, crushing everyone on the bottom by furniture, shelving, pallets of food, and supports. So this also goes to people burying things into the heavy gravel/soil on the backside of mountain ranges without knowing if that mountain range at that longitude is stable. It's important to understand the area that you're putting this stuff or burying this stuff. It's for your own best interest and health to understand this stuff. Will it be able to handle where you decide to put your bunker multitudes of earthquakes hammering one after another like a jackhammer for periods of times? Not something way over a 10, but we're talking 8 to 10 magnitude earthquakes hammering one upon each other. Understand that the front pressure of hundreds of feet in height waves and higher, and their hundreds of miles and longer pushing force coming over the flat ocean properties and pressurizing the waterways as to go inwards into the waterway channels and rivers. There'll be a fast pushing wind in front of them, ripping things apart. As an ancient spirit being. I am talking about this to assure you that you understand if your idea for putting a safe bunker of a different style or styles in a location has been completely, thoroughly researched and understood. Had it occurred to you that the archaeologists that find periodically while they're digging around, as that's what they do, they find these very well hidden caverns or ancient bunkers that ended up being buried by either water, earthquakes, landslides, snow slides, and so forth. Because even at that time, back in history, they quick built stuff without understanding the ramifications of the hows and whys of nature within their surroundings. Just ask any ostrich spirit out in the wild. They will agree that just sticking the head into an already made hole may not be the most defensive move to ensure their future. Now, people buying old missile silos out in the plain states and such need to make sure the hatchways of the silos are still, and doorways are still being able to be pressure and watertight. So when the tormental pounding rains rips across parts of the planet, that they're not going to drown like a rat. Now, remember that those in the plains, the flat plains areas, getting their share and mixtures of pulverized rocks from the tail of the red dead star, pieces of asteroids, meteors, moons, planets, etc., pulverized ones raining in with the rain from the Nibiru system of planets. On the flatlands, this will end up in drowning the people, because these hatches, if they're not checked and repaired, they will leak or be ripped off. The entire cities also I want to talk about. The elite cities that have been built in the tunnels that were built by our tax money since the 1960s. Now, some of those will be ripped open by the passing of the red dead star and the water pounding through those openings at thousands of pounds of pressure. Because, once again, the people that built these projects, that built these caverns, that cut these caverns, didn't do the full math to understand the shiftage of the planet Earth's plates with the rocks. Now, in summary, it is so much better to plan ahead, and for those who can afford them, for the underground bunker sites in a very a well-studied area to ensure you and your children and your grandchildren being able to keep your family bloodline going after the passing of the red dead star, or a surprise attack on America from the hidden levels of our own government's own hidden military with the super high-tech weapons, or from either off-worlders who got tired of waiting, or this very secretive China and Russian combination military ideas to take out the United States. Though at the times mentioned are somewhat in the probabilities of around 41%, with the leaning, though, to that variable of off-world attack or the hidden government's own hidden secret military staging such an attack and blaming it on a dead terrorist or an off-world species which was designed in Hollywood and has never existed in the living universe. But these last two factors are varying 12% up and down off of that 41. So it's varying. That there's so many things in the variables right now that something could crack loose and happen. But anyone that has even a little bit of money left after a paycheck is spent on your bills can buy ready-to-eat meals and such from many different places, little bit by little bit. But please understand, this will be better than having no food at all. It will be better to have sustainable food and supplies than to have your fancy car or SUV that you can barely afford right now. So later you will be dead because you'll starve to death in your fancy vehicle. Why? Because you haven't figured out how to put your very expensive vehicle in. You need to be able to understand if they will be stable in a closed environment for a length of time. Because many people in the 21st century are not very user-friendly for long periods of time in confinement. Even if it's a very large cave or very large trailers or very large bunkers or tunnels, it don't make a difference. The people in the 21st century, when they are out of the sun for X number of hours/days, they start getting cranky and wild. What will it be like if they have to do this for months or years? All right. So look at the people that you're going to bring in and understand if they're going to be able to handle it. Look at how many people fail the test to be able to be in a naval submarine crew because of the confinement. A lot of people's psyche can't handle that type of very drastic confinement, especially for 6 months to 12 months out of a year. So let the people understand the people and let them know if they're going to come in the bunkers with you that you have to know that they are going to be stable enough not to turn against you within the bunker when everything breaks loose, as it is seen, that you will all be able to survive and not have someone going postal on you and none of you survive while you're surrounded by stacks of food. So, this is the ancient spirit tralaka. As always, my friends, journey safely, experience many things, and understand the greater picture of what you can become that has been long hid from you. Good night.